I teach clients and students how to embrace and to mulch the resistances that they have and to utilize those resistances to grow fertility, which is at the core of all core creativity. So when you embrace your resistances, you welcome them in, and you begin to invite them in, if you will, to have tea with you. And so you drop out of trying to stop having resistances. You accept them, you acknowledge them, and then in the process of accepting and acknowledging them, they begin to transform. The process of trying to struggle with overcoming your resistances often causes resistance. You become resistant to your resistances. So the primary shift there is a shift of view. The other form is that you engage, which is more of a Western psychological model, which is you actively engage in trying to fight with your resistances and struggle to overcome your resistances and struggle to overcome negative thinking. And I think paradoxically that causes more resistance. We're dealing in an economic time, a time of a great tragedy. It's the second worst economic time since the Great Depression. It's not only psychological resistance, but there's a cultural resistance with unemployment at 10%. That's approximately 30 million people are out of work. And so people need hope, they need inspiration, and they need support to work through their resistances, and especially to work through the hindrance of negative thinking. And so I think it's very important that when you're helping somebody who feels depressed and downtrodden and very discouraged about finding or acquiring a new job, is to help them to acquire a vision to how are they going to re-engineer their life and perhaps not do what they were doing, because that opportunity, that job loss may be a permanent job loss, but to have them shift from holding on to what they used to do and to inspire them and to encourage them and to perhaps even educate them to learn new technical skills. The most essential process is to help them to develop a new vision of themselves and of their life so that they can get from the loss to the possibility. The method to embrace your resistances is to then to start to identify what are the functions of those resistances. How are they serving you? What are the hidden payoffs? Are they positive, neutral, or negative payoffs? What is the pain that I'm going to experience if I don't overcome my resistances? The first payoff of resistance is that we can avoid change. And people are oftentimes far more familiar with the devil that they know than the devil that they don't know. A very common and human fear is to abandon what you know because it's familiar, it has routine associated with it, and it's why people oftentimes will stay at a job for 30, 40, 50 years and not make a change, is because it has a familiarity to it. But oftentimes that is an unconscious way of choking out the life force. Oftentimes parents developmentally don't respond favorably to the oddness or the uniqueness or the unusualness of their child. And they respond in a way that's controlling or dominating or manipulating or fear-inducing. And oftentimes that will suffocate and stifle the child's natural and authentic sense of differentness. And this differentness is really the mark that you see in most leaders, thinkers, philosophers, artists, poets, and visionaries in history. People are afraid and oftentimes feel guilty about pursuing what they're passionate about and what is possible to attain or achieve that will oftentimes separate them from the pack and separate them from the people that they're familiar with, whom they have come up with, or they currently socialize with, and they fear that they will be castigated or alienated in some way. What most terrifies people is not getting what they want. What really terrifies people, and that's why there's so much resistance about moving towards what they want, is the fear of experiencing the fulfillment and the wonder and the exhilaration of touching success and experiencing contentment, satisfaction, passion, fulfillment. In our culture, success is rewarded and failure is to be avoided. However, the most successful people throughout history, and particularly in business, have failed almost as often as they've succeeded. So individuals need to be supported through their fear of failure, their fear of taking risks, in order to be courageous, to take risks, and to step out into the unknown.